Hello, everybody. Today we are going to talk about one of Shakespeare's greatest plays. It's called Othello. Othello is classified as a kind of drama called tragedy. What do you mean by tragedy? Tragedy, it means that this drama is full of sad events. Let's talk about the main characters of this drama. Perpantuo, a rich senator of Venice, our hero Othello, a general in the Venetian army. Cassio, a young soldier from Florence and Othello's friend. Iago, an officer in the army. Desdemona, Perpantuo's daughter. Emilia, Iago's wife. Let's explain Act 1. Othello with Desdemona. Desdemona was the beautiful and the gentle daughter of Perpantuo, a rich senator of Venice. Many men wanted to marry her for both her many good qualities and her fortune. She didn't like any of them, but she loved a Moor. The word Moor means African, a black man who her father liked and often invited to his house. This man was Othello, who had everything which might recommend him to the love of the greatest lady. He was a brave soldier. He was a trusted and respected general in the Venetian army. He was a brave and a loyal leader. Desdemona liked him to talk about his adventures in the battles, the dangers he had faced, and how he was taken as a prisoner and how he escaped. He also had many strange stories about countries, caves, and mountains he had seen. Once Desdemona asked him to tell her the whole story of his life. He did so, and she cried when he spoke about his terrible of the terrible things he had seen. Then they spoke openly about their love, and soon she agreed to marry him. Perpetua didn't accept Othello because of color and fortune. You know that Othello was a black, strong African man. At this time, there was a kind of racism. The people of Europe always preferred the white men. Perpetua expected his daughter to choose a high-ranked Venetian as a husband. Desdemona and Othello were married privately, but this marriage could not be kept a secret for a long time. There was news that the Turkish fleet or the Turks were sailing to the island of Cyprus to take it from the Venetians, so the state urgently needed Othello as the general of the army to defend it. They thought that he was the only man who could defend Cyprus. Soon Othello was accused by Perpetua of a crime. What was this crime? This crime, Perpetua accused Othello of using magic to marry his daughter. The senators and the duke listened to Perpetua's and Othello's stories. Othello's story was proved to be true by Desdemona, who said that her mother preferred her father over her own father. It means that Desdemona's mother married Desdemona's father against Desdemona's grandfather's will, and she did like her mother. With many words of sorrow, Berpancio gave his daughter to Othello, saying he was glad that he had no other children as Desdemona. While Othello and his wife were in Cyprus, there was a terrible storm caused the Turkish ships to separate or scatter. So the island was safe. Cassio was the most trusted friend of Othello. He was cheerful, friendly, spoke well, so he had the qualities that could please women. He was a frequent visitor to Othello's house, so he had Desdemona. Desdemona always talked with Cassio and often laughed together. Othello had recently raised Cassio to a higher rank. This promotion had greatly upset Iago. It means that Iago was very angry. Why? Iago was an older officer. He thought that he deserved this promotion more than Cassio. So, for revenge, he had a plan to ruin Cassio, Othello, and Desdemona. This was the end of Act 1. Act 2. At the end of Act 1, you know that Othello, the general of the army, raised Michael Cassio to a higher rank, and this made Iago upset. So he decided to ruin Othello, Cassio, and Desdemona. In this act, Iago is going to put his plan into action. The news of the scattering of the Turkish ships caused a sort of holiday in Cyprus. One night, Cassio was in charge of the soldiers. He was ordered by Othello to stop the soldiers from drinking too much wine, so as not to upset the people of Cyprus. Iago began to put his plans into actions. He encouraged Cassio to drink too much and to speak about Desdemona while he was drunk. Iago also encouraged another man to argue with Cassio, and soon there was a fight between them. Iago rang the castle bell. So Othello was awakened and he went to the crime place. Othello insisted to know what happened, but Cassio was too ashamed to say anything. Iago told Othello all about it. The result was taking away Cassio's rank of lieutenant. So Iago's first plan succeeded. Cassio was said that he was a fool and misfortunate. Pretending to be his friend, Iago suggested that Cassio should speak to Desdemona and ask her to speak to Othello for him. Indeed, Cassio asked her soon to forgive such offenses. And this point, when Desdemona asked her husband to forgive Michael Cassio, he told her it was too soon to forgive such offenses. But she repeated her request, even begged him. So Othello promised her to look kindly on Michael Cassio's case. Taking the chance of seeing Cassio leaving a room where Desdemona was, Iago began to make Othello suspect her. Iago asked Othello if Cassio knew about Othello's love during their courtship. Othello asked Iago to tell him what he knew and to put all his worst thoughts into words. Iago asked Othello to watch Desdemona when Cassio was around. He suggested that Desdemona deceived her father when she married Othello and added that if she deceived her father, she might deceive her husband. He reminded him of his color and the possibility that she might begin to compare her husband with the clear white Italian men. Iago asked Othello to wait a little longer before forgiving Cassio and to notice how eagerly Desdemona spoke for Cassio, asking for forgiveness. Act 3. The death of the lovers. Before we start this act, I'm going to tell you something very important. In all times, Othello's mother went to Egypt as a visit, and she went to an Egyptian witch who made her a magic handkerchief. This handkerchief will make her husband love her more than she imagined. The witch warned her, as long as you kept this handkerchief with you, your husband will love you. If you lost this handkerchief, your husband will hate you more than he loved you. Let's move to the beginning of the act. Othello began to try to suffer from jealousy. He grew tired of his job and no longer looked any delight in soldiering. He was about to be mad. He cannot decide if his wife was honest or not. He once took Iago by the throat and asked for a proof of Desdemona's guilt. He threatened Iago with the death if he lied. To complete his revenge plan, Iago made his wife steal Desdemona's handkerchief, and he would leave it where Cassio would find it. In fact, the handkerchief was Othello's present to his wife. Before this, I told you about the handkerchief. The handkerchief on the marriage day, Othello's mother gave it to him and told him to give this handkerchief to his wife in order to love him. Iago wanted to make Othello believe that his wife gave his present to another man, Cassio. As a present, Iago told Othello that he saw his wife's handkerchief with Cassio. Othello, mad of jealousy, asked his wife for the handkerchief, but she couldn't find it. Othello told his wife that he had suffered all sorts of troubles bravely, but her unfaithfulness had broken his heart. Othello intended to kill her while sleeping, but when he saw her asleep, he decided not to make her bleed or to damage her white skin. He kissed her for the last time, but this kiss awoke her. He told her to prepare herself for the death and to say her prayers. The innocent wife begged his kindness, but he suffocated her with the bedclothes. Iago sent a man to kill Cassio, but he only wounded him. So Iago killed that man to cover his plan. Some letters were found in that man's pocket. The letters proved Iago's guilt and Cassio's innocence. When Othello discovered that his wife had been always faithful, he killed himself. Iago was put to death. This was the end of our play.